Bam, we're live. Oh, I have a feeling my internet's going to be worse today than yesterday. Who wants to tell me my mic is wrong? Nope, it's not wrong. Good morning, Chris. Seymour, what's up? Dick Butter, let's do this. I wonder if, every day when the show's over, I have to go over to the YouTube account and I have to ask for my show to be reviewed because every single show gets flagged. And I wonder if just saying Dick Butter's name in the first 2 minutes gets it flagged. Because someone said if you swear in the first 2 minutes, you automatically get flagged. The good news is I'd say, I don't know, 90%, 9 in 10 shows that I ask for review get cleared. And when I say get flagged, I don't even know exactly what that means. I suspect what that means is they give you less impressions. They send the show out to less people. And also, you're not, when they do that, obviously they want to make money off of everything that's published on YouTube. So if you can't monetize your account because it has something that, uh, people who run ads in YouTube don't want to be affiliated with, let's say like swearing, I think that that in turn, then YouTube is not incentivized to share your show. So, I wonder if Dick Butter gets me flagged just saying the name. Anyway, most of the stuff gets released. David, good morning. Steven, what's up, dude? Jake, what a lovely window. I'm looking. The internet connection looks pretty weak again today. Today's my last day on the road. I don't have to get back. I shouldn't say it like this, but I'm not getting back in the boat. Yesterday, after we got off the boat was pulled out of the water and trailered the rest of the way up to Santa Cruz. Sevon 6-shooter. What up, Sevy? Yeah, you call me Sevy even. Looking fresh, Sevy. I worked out yesterday. Yesterday was the first day of time I worked out since, I don't know, whenever I left. Yeah, we showed up to this swanky hotel in Santa Barbara. I got here. I downloaded an interval timer on my app and then did a 30-minute workout. I am at where am I? I am at, I think the place is called Rosewood. I don't even know the name of it. I'm going to look around the hotel. It's crazy nice though. I bet you my room probably has like 1,000. When I got here, my room has like $1,000 worth of alcohol in it. I bet. I've never seen so much alcohol in a room. Fancy alcohol with all the lids waxed shut and. No roadhead on this trip. Nope. Thank you for asking. Is the Russell Burger Show Rumble and X only? That's a good question. I don't know. I suspect we will stream live to YouTube, and then at the end afterwards, if we get crazy, then we'll switch back to we'll pull it off of YouTube. I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. What's my address? I don't know the address here, but it's in Santa Barbara. Good morning, Trish. Good morning, Ernie Garza. What's the deal with Trish? Is this the original Trish? Sometimes the debate comes up that this isn't the original Trish. There's a behind the scenes. I want to show you a trailer for the behind the scenes. If you want to see the behind the scenes early, and there's going to be a ton of shows. I bet you my guess is there's going to be 4 from Knoxville and 4 from the event that happened on the West Coast. So 4 from the Syndicate Crown semifinal, which Tia and Danielle Brandon and Dallin Pepper, etc. were at. And then I suspect there'll be 4 from the West Coast, which was put on by Dylan and Loudon Live. And that has people like Katie Hanyo, Alex Gazan, Colton Mertens, Justin Medeiros, people like this. But Will Brandstetter put together a little trailer, and you can sign up to be a CEO member, and you can start watching these right away. But here's a little trailer of the one from the East Coast. These are really good. Here we go.
I'm here for money, people here for show.
And then we're all friendly during the competition.
Friends, acquaintances.
Just a threat. You know what that is.
Like, I want to prove that, like, I am a better version of myself.
I'm here with actually my mom, a whole nother thing to navigate right now. Dude, like, don't talk about that. Like, it's embarrassing.
I know I can still run. It's so serious. People think I'm kidding when I say that.
I told them that's the most proud I've been after an event probably ever.
Haiti Canyo. Haiti Canyo. Hattie Canyo. Hattie Canyo. There's some iteration that's correct. We'll know soon. I saw a post that Scott Schweitzer did where you've been on his show 15 times. 15 times. Scott, Clydesdale Media, like he's Nostradamus, like he knew. Judy Reed, hi Sevon, Sevi and friends. By the way, the behind the scenes was really good. Will and Suze are great behind the camera interviewing. Yeah, dude, they killed it. They killed it. Yes, Trish, this behind the scenes has I noticed that myself. All the trailers and all the music, and it's got a whole different feel than any other behind the scenes. Usually the stuff I feel like the stuff that I've done in the past, or the stuff the Buttery Bros do for sure, or just that people do have kind of like a techno music, with like it feels like I don't know, Transformers music, and this version of the behind the scenes doesn't have any of that. It's like it feels like Will's from the 1950s. Killer music choices. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Yeah, totally different kind of music. Yeah, very upbeat. They should have Tupac as music. I don't know if we can do that. Scott Schweitzer, I knew. He knew. He knew. He knew. How about the 4 hostages that were released yesterday? Pretty crazy, right? Released. I guess you could say they were released. I've been trying to catch up on the news. I haven't been following the news very much in the last few days. And yesterday I got home and I watched 2 stories on there were 4 hostages in Gaza who the IDF special forces, Israeli special forces, went in and rescued 4 hostages. And the different news stories are quite fascinating, but they keep interchanging these words, civilian and soldiers. And I keep wondering how you delineate or distinguish civilians from soldiers, being that the hostages were being held by what they called civilians. And I wasn't sure if I had remembered this correctly, but I found this article in Reuters, and it says 3 in 4 Palestinians believe October 7th attacks by Hamas on Israel was correct. So I've never seen a country so unified around something. I don't think we have any polls that are like 75% in the United States. I bet you if the question was here in the United States, should we stay as a democracy or switch to communism, you couldn't get 75% of the people that say we should stick with democracy. And yet 75% of the Palestinian 75% of the Palestinian civilians polled believe that October 7th was a righteous attack. And so when you do that, when you have a country that's unified like that, and you're at war with the other country, you have to expect some pretty serious aggression. And we've talked about it before. When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, they killed just over 2,000 people. And in retribution, the United States killed 900,000 to 3.5 million Japanese, depending on what source you use. It's just it's amazing to me that so many people are still. Of course, no one wants to see any human beings killed on some level, right? We're all brothers and sisters. We're all on some level. We're all related. Pat Lang, Palestinians, I'm guessing are lied to on the reg and believe Israel is doing the same to them all the time. It's about misinformation. I couldn't agree more. You're probably absolutely right. You're probably absolutely right. I can't imagine 75% would agree with that. But I can't. Unfortunately, I agree. The number's really high, but unfortunately, I can. I do believe it. I suspect if I had to bet $1 million on whether it's true or not true, I believe it's true. In their education as kids, they are taught. All of them who attend the compulsory school in Gaza are taught to hate America, death to America, and death to the Jews. I mean, it's part of their upbringing. I mean, there's so many crazy statistics around the whole thing. So many crazy statistics. One of the most fascinating ones is that inside of Israel, there's 2 million Muslims who live inside of Israel, and yet there's not even 1,000 uh, Jews who live in the 54 Muslim nations. Jake Chapman, just like when kids are taught they're victims. Jason speaks. You can believe nothing anymore. That's an interesting sentence, but yeah. Yesterday, Greg and I were sitting at the hotel, and this guy rolls up, really big old dude, looks like a professional football player, really beautiful wife. They both look like foreigners, and they have two very stunning kids, probably like 3 and 5 years old. And they walk up to the table, and Greg stands up, and this guy just opens his arms and grabs Greg and just says, "I love you." It was wild. And he was just beaming, and he just grabs Greg and goes, "I love you." And then I think he said it like 3 times, and he wanted Greg to really know he loved him. He's like, "I know, I mean it. I really love you. I really love you." As his beautiful wife and 2 beautiful kids looked on, and I looked on, and then Greg embraced him back. And then when they separated, the guy's like, "I own 4 gyms. I own 4 CrossFit gyms." And he goes, "And I'm in the midst of purchasing a 5th." It was wild. It was really cool. And I don't, to be honest, I don't expect to see anyone I know here. My room at this hotel cost more than probably the Airbnb cost all week in Compton. No, it was not Matt Fraser. Good guess though. It was a really big guy. And so he hung out and we talked. He gave me the obligatory, "Hey, I really love your podcast." That was cool. I felt recognized. I felt seen. I followed his Instagram account. His Instagram account for a CrossFit gym had like 10,000 followers, almost 10,000 followers. Does Greg pay for everything and then some? Everything. He pays for everything and then some. Listen, I pay my mortgage with the cost of this room. It's fun. These trips that we do, these trips that I do with him, I love the adventures to all the swanky hotels. And I've never been to this hotel. There used to be a hotel right adjacent to this. This is actually in Montecito, and there used to be a hotel right next to this that was owned by the guy who created the Beanie Babies and Bill Gates. It was called the Biltmore. It was one of the Four Seasons properties. And during COVID, it went out of business. It was an amazing hotel. It was on a beach called Butterfly Beach. And so it closed down. And so as we came up through here, he said, "Hey, we're going to stay at this hotel next door." He had been here before. I had not been here. And it's nice. It's like a village. The hotel's like a village. I have my own little villa, patio, crazy pool here. Oh, what a generous man. Yeah, I mean, Greg's crazy generous. And if to be honest, if he didn't pay, like I couldn't come. Like I'd have to, I don't know where I'd stay. I'd bring a tent. I mean, fuck it, Santa Barbara. Tank Reeves. Gay. All about the clout. So cool to be an influencer. This too shall pass. I don't understand. I got this. Greg's reaction was great. You know what I mean? Like, the guy walked right up to him. He goes, "I love you," and Greg they just hugged. They just embraced. Like the guy didn't even say why. He hadn't even got out that he owned gyms or anything. Greg just stood up and hugged the shit out of him. And then Greg's like, "Here's my phone number." I mean, they talked for 15 minutes. They shot the shit. They stood there. I had these salty almonds on the table. I shared them with the little kids. I just hung out with the kids. And Greg's like, "Hey, if you ever need anything, or if you ever have an anniversary, or if you ever do any parties or anything at your gym, please invite me. I'd love to show up." Yeah, it was lots of gay stuff going on. It was fun. I love gay stuff. We had another crazy encounter last night too. I don't know if I'm going to get into that. Extremely positive. Greg's very these interactions with strangers, though, when you're with Greg, are not uncommon. He will engage. He'll engage anybody. I mean, if there's a guy outside of a Home Depot begging for money, Greg will engage him. Hey, what's your deal? What are you doing? Are you addicted to drugs? Why are you here? Thought about getting a job? Do you have any family? I mean, the homeboy will engage anybody with some crazy intensity and sincerity. He is not. He's kind of the opposite of me. I'm like a little bit averse to. I mean, I like strangers, but I can be a little averse to social contact at times. I was definitely not in the mood to talk to anyone yesterday. We'd been on the boat for three and a half hours. I should share some of the pictures I took. I'd never seen I mean, I've been up and down the California coast hundreds and hundreds of times on all the roads, the 101, the 5, the 1, all that stuff. But this time we were in a boat, basically just following the coast at 30 to 50 miles an hour the whole time. And so I got this whole perspective of the coastline that I'd never gotten before. And what are you doing there? Nothing. I'm talking to you. I'm like nothing. The objective was to pick his boat up from San Diego and bring it up to Santa Cruz. And I think Greg's going to be in Santa Cruz for the next 3 weeks. And it's a very capable ship. It's called a Axopar. And I think basically he keeps saying that every day we're going to go out whale watching with the kids off the coast of Santa Barbara, or off the coast of Santa Cruz. So that's what we're doing. Jay Chapman with the important questions. What's more gay, being a swim coach or snorting coke out of a man's? Great. Okay. Sevi, I still can't wait for the text me anytime from Sevi. Yeah, text me anytime. I prefer a text. So, let's see. So you're Gilligan and Greg is the skipper. I mean, for the first 3 days, I just sat in the back of the boat. I never went to the front of the boat, and then yesterday for the last hour, I finally convinced Greg's wife is pregnant, and I convinced her because she was up in the front of the boat, and I was like, "Hey, man, you got to come to the back of the boat." In the back of the boat, the bumps and the rocking is so minimal that all I have to do is put my head down, and within like 5 minutes, I'm asleep. It's so easy to sleep back there, to lie down on the couch. So, I finally convinced her yesterday. I was like, "Hey, let's switch spots. You let me sit in the front and you go lay in the back." And within 30 seconds of being back there, she's like, "Oh my God, it's amazing back here." And she stayed back there probably for the last hour and a half. And I sat in the front. And the front's crazy because you're flying through the water. We went by we saw some crazy stuff yesterday. We went by these ships that were like 700 feet long, that were massive, like car carriers. And we went right up next to them. We went by, there's tons of, I don't know if I think they're called oil derricks out in the ocean, out here off the coast of Santa Barbara. We drove right next to those. I got to see those up close. There's no other boats out there. I saw 500 dolphins yesterday. We saw a whale, endless amount of birds, crazy amount of bird traffic. But there are huge swaths of the coast where there's no boats and there's no activity. And we were just flying up the coast. What Heidi said something. I text Sevi just in case he's busy. I text Sevi never just in case he's busy. I'm always busy. Always text me. I have how many? I have 358 unanswered texts right now. But it's okay. Sooner or later I'll have a huge deuce to take and I'll just sit there and go through all my texts. Are you guys handling all the driving and navigating? Yeah. I mean, the boat has it has these 2 huge screens and it tells you about anything. So like when we pass a giant boat, you can click on the screen and it will give you all the details about the boat. It'll tell you where the boat's from, how long it is, what year it was put into commission. There's spots on the map that you can click, and it'll tell you that this is like I forget what it's called, a natural nature, animal area, and you click on it, and then when you get close to it, you'll see you're just out in the middle of the ocean, and there's just gazillions of birds. So I'm guessing those are shallow spots. I mean, the boat's telling you everything, and you can see everything. You can just touch your finger a spot on the map, and then put go, and the boat will go there. And that spot could be 1,000 miles away. It doesn't even matter. And then all you have to do is adjust the speed. You don't even have to adjust the speed if you don't want. Everything's auto. I mean, Greg drove the boat manually, I'd say for 90% of the trip. But I suspect it's just like flying a plane in terms of the navigational tools. It looks just like the screens on his planes, on his 2 planes. He had up in the front, there's these 2 screens that the captain's always fucking with. It looks just like that. Greg is part professor and part skipper. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah. And the boat does have I think it's called a gyroscope. In the center of the boat, you can't see it, but there is a steel ball. I don't know. It's probably like this big. And it's in a case, and it spins. And I want to say it spins it. I don't know. They told us. I think it's somewhere like 10 or 20,000 revolutions a minute. And then you push a button, and it takes 30 minutes to spool up. And then you push a button, and it somehow engages the boat, and it keeps the boat from rocking. It's nuts. It was truly a pleasure. I can't believe how much I enjoyed the ride. I was kind of dreading it. I felt like I was going to be trapped. And anytime I had to pee, he would just slow down, and I would just go to the back of the boat, and I would drop to one knee, and there's this little spot between the engine and this like little spot where you dive off of. And with I put one hand on the engine and the other hand on my dick and just pee right in the little space. So there's that. There is a bathroom in the boat. There's no reason to use the bathroom. I wish I could text Sevi. You can text me. Anyone can text me. I've reached a point in my life where I feel no pressure to respond to text, unless you're a sponsor. I have Sarah pinned at the top of my text. I just finally did that. The CA lady who owns CA Peptides. I just finally pinned her to the top. I don't want to miss any of her texts. How much is the boat worth? I knew that number, but I forget. It's really expensive. And I didn't realize how special the boat is until every harbor we pull into, someone has to say something to us. It's like he has this really fancy Hennessy TRX that has 1,000 horsepower. I think it's like one of 70, and everywhere if you go out in it, someone will say something to you, and it's like that. Even to me, it just looks like a normal, beautiful, boat, small boat, big boat. I don't know. It's 37 feet, but people who know boats, everyone has to say something to them. So there's that. If enough of you buy memberships, CEO memberships, maybe I'll buy a boat. Probably not, though. I don't know how many CEO memberships it would take. Would Greg buy CrossFit back if given the opportunity? I mean, I think he'd buy it back for $1. I don't think more than that. I think at some point someone has to just realize, like, hey, without this guy at the helm, it's just never going to go. His understanding of what CrossFit is significantly different than what the current owners think CrossFit is. So they're like trying to change it into something that I don't think it can personally be, and that I don't even think that they're aware that they're trying to change it into. And so I think from where Greg sits, he can see what they're doing, but they would never be able to understand what it really is unless they had, 10 years of hanging out with Greg. I think Nicole understands what it is. I think Dave does. I think there's a few other people who work there that probably do. But you'd have to be at breakfast with Greg like 500. At least I had to be. Maybe I'm just slow, but I had to do 500 breakfasts with Greg before I understood what CrossFit was. And the way to understand it is to think of it more as a movement or it needs to be operated like a media company, but it has to be respected and understood as a activist company, like a Greenpeace or a Sierra Club. It has to be understood that it's a ideology. It's a way of life, which is, and sharing that with people is different than trying to get them to buy M&Ms. Dennis, thank you. You now have access to the behind the scenes. You've cracked the code. Dennis McTaggart, thank you. Best $20 you ever spent. The trip would have made great content. Bring your media guys with you. Be priceless. My media guys. If 30,000 do memberships, you can buy a boat. So if 30,000 people did memberships at $20 a month, that would be $600,000 this month. That would be cool. I'd probably pay off the house I live in this month. I'd like to see the investment report on CrossFit right now. I mean, I think clearly what they're doing now is they're trying to reduce their costs by any means necessary, make the company look as good as they can on paper, increase revenue, increase profit, and then obviously sell. Don had an interesting, a couple weeks ago, there was that video that Pedro put out. I think Don, actually, you know what? I think Don's going to be on Coffee Pods and Wads. Let me look at this. Coffee Pods and Wads. Let me see real quick. Coffee Pods and Wads. For some reason, I thought I heard. Wit Fitness buyback, Dan Williams. I wonder what that's about. There's an interesting story there. I should call Pedro and talk to him about Wit. I don't see. I thought for some reason Don Fall was coming on Pedro's podcast. But anyway, Pedro reported, remember, he played that he had a guy on the show, and the guy said that Don said that they were trying to sell the company, and that later on a statement came out from HQ. I think it came directly from Don saying that, like, hey, that guy who said that wasn't even there, and we're not actively trying to sell the company, but of course we're eventually going to sell the company, which the whole thing didn't make sense to me. I think like obviously the people who bought the company, their goal at the end is to sell the company. I don't think that they have I've never heard of some sort of plan they have to keep it forever and mold it into something they cherish. I don't think they view it as like a dog that they bought and they're going to keep it till it dies and nurture it and take care of it and feed it right. I think the whole plan has always been that. So it's weird that he says that's not true, and yet in the same paragraph does say it's true. So basically he's saying, I didn't say it, but it is true. Or I don't know. I couldn't, it was weird. I understand how it frustrated Dom, but because maybe the narrative behind how that information was shared isn't true. But I mean, clearly the people who bought it would love to sell it and make a profit. That's why they bought it. So, and I think I think I would have to guess that's by any means necessary. I think that's by any means necessary. Oh, hold on. It looks like I'm being summoned. Greg's wife is summoning me. Let me see what she's doing. Anyway, I think I heard that Don's going to be on Pedro's podcast, and that'll be cool to see him on there. Ian Stinnett. In my opinion, all the really good CrossFit boxes seem to just ignore CrossFit HQ and get on with delivering for their members. Fair enough. CF needs to find its place in the world of functional fitness again. Would you operate an affiliate with that idea, Sevan? I don't know what idea you're referencing. But if I were to run an affiliate, I mean, like what Ian is saying is probably true. If I ran an affiliate, I'm guessing that I'm just making this up, but that 80% of the stuff that I talk about HQ wouldn't be relevant. I mean, I would want to know, but it wouldn't be relevant to me other than just for excitement and narrative and fun. I think at the end of the day, I mean, Craig Howard said it the best. Like, all we want from HQ is not for them not to fuck up the brand, and then the affiliates will do the rest. But I do think that there are some really simple things, obviously, that CrossFit could do. Like, CrossFit should, and we've said this a million times, sound like a broken record now, but if they need a goal, if they need something to do, like a litmus test to pass all of their actions through, everything should be 100% focused on, let's make sure that we're the premier, we let the world know that we have the premier seminar on how to stay healthy in the world, and then just keep pounding that in, right? And that would be enough. The whole community would flourish if they just kept focused on that. So does it matter if old people are doing it? Doesn't matter. Does it matter if Asians are doing it? It doesn't matter. Like, take all the resources. Does it matter how many girls you have working at the company? No, it doesn't matter. Like, take all of that away and just strictly focus on sharing with the world content that comes out of the level one, putting a flagpole in the premise that this is the premier fitness method and health methodology in the world, and only focus everything on that. And if it's not helping that, don't go down that avenue. I mean, it would flourish. It would absolutely flourish. I was thinking yesterday, I wanted to run this by Dave. I ran into a master's athlete who works for CrossFit, and I was thinking, so an example of that would be if any of the employees who work at CrossFit Inc. made it to the games, or I would give them a stipend, right? I would give them, like, any athlete who works for CrossFit who makes it to the games, I'd give $1,000 to. 100%, just simple like that. Oh, here's $1,000. Fuck, I'd give them more. I'd give them $5,000. And why? Because they're at the pinnacle, and they're the poster child, and those are the people I would want to incentivize to keep around. And a lot of people misunderstand this statement, what I'm saying. They'd be like, well, that's easy for you to say because you're not an affiliate owner. But I would not worry about the health and wellness and the getting people from different demographics to get into CrossFit. I don't think that they even have any of the resources to do any of that. I would abandon all of that and just focus on the spear, and all that nonsense when people say, well, the games makes it look like it's too hard or it's too intimidating. I would just ignore all of that noise, and I wouldn't worry about that, because as we all know, anyone who makes it through that veil of our top, forward-facing athletes will see that it's for everyone once they get inside. And those would be the kind of people that I would want in my gym anyway. So do you see what I'm saying? So it's like you're looking at a waterfall and you're like, wow, that's insane. But for the people who have the balls to push through it and look through it, they can get in on the other side, which is very easy to do. All you have to do is walk into any affiliate. At that point, you would see, oh, shit. Inside of here, there's old people, there's people with one leg, there's people who have had strokes, there's the whole swath of people, and that they can scale this for any of us. And so on the cover, it's just forward facing, it's just brand value, brand value, brand value. But once you scratch the surface, you could get inside and be like, oh shit, it's for everyone. And that's the way it used to be, and it was very successful like that. And I don't think you need to block part of the waterfall so people can see back there to come in. I don't think that that's necessary at all, because also the people inside the affiliates will talk to other people and let them know, hey, we have people from the whole gambit swath of life and the hands that human beings have been dealt inside of these affiliates. And if you have limited resources, I would just do that. I would just keep talking to the base, keep talking to the base, keep building the brand up as like, hey, we have the fittest people in the world. We have the best instruction in the world. We have the best nutrition protocol in the world. That's how I do it. And there's always some affiliates who say, well, that's easy for you to say, and they get focused on trying to entice people, or they want HQ to entice people maybe to come into the gyms outside of that. I don't think it's necessary at all. Trish, I want to hear the sales pitch. Rosa bought it for the same reason middle-aged men buy sports cars that lose value as soon as they drive them. CrossFit has been sitting in Rosa's garage for 5 years. Probably that. I think that's pretty fair. I think he really loved CrossFit, what it meant to him, and that's why he bought it. And what it meant to him is, I think, what he thought it was. What's up, D'Souza? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Oh, would you run your affiliate with the idea that it was a media company and activist organization? No. Nope. I don't think I would. I wouldn't run my affiliate like that. I would run the company like that. I wouldn't run my affiliate like that. Mrs. Burns from SabbathEssentials.com. Hey, I don't think our affiliate pays much attention to HQ happenings. Yeah, probably smart. Jeffrey Birchfield, if you haven't seen Josh's latest video, it's a must watch. It's awesome. Is that the one that famous comedian? Was that his house? I do want to see that. Ryan Kendall, I own an affiliate like Craig Howard and Sevi said, just don't want CFHQ to fuck up the brand. Yeah. Dana White, WME, like building niche sports, give them a shot. Yeah, it would. If someone like WME were to, or Silver Lake, I think that's the parent company, were to buy CrossFit and see it as a important component to their portfolio as a long-term like player to be a part of kind of the WWE and UFC franchises, I think CrossFit could flourish. But it's going to take someone, and I think that, you know, I think the only person standing at the company who could do that would be someone like Dave, but it's going to have to like, it's going to have to be, someone's going to have to be given like what carte blanche control, who can just say fuck you and doesn't hear the noise and doesn't care. You know what I mean? I mean, look at what Dana's gone through. And the brand, and that brand strong as shit. You know what I was thinking too is like, and I've said this before too on the show many times. If they have a press conference, UFC does a lot of press conferences. Like every week they do a couple press conferences, and I don't watch any of the press conferences Dana White's not at. And that's the kind of, there's a bravado, a clarity in his speech and honesty that he comes across that I don't think CrossFit has forward facing in its leadership, if they wanted to go that way. And I think they do have to go that way. And I do think if WME bought it, I think that they would have the balls to be like, okay, let's straighten the ship and turn around. And obviously, in my entire life, I've never met a better fighter than Greg Glassman. The dude can really fight. And that was a huge part of the brand, right? He would see the enemies on the horizon and he would fuck them up. And he would war. And I think that that's a really, I think that was a really important part of the brand. Sevon, when are you going to release the media challenge? Soon. So I'll tell you about the media challenge. This is like one of the things I'm so excited about this. So you've probably heard me talk about it the last 3 days. So I'm going to just tell the story again. I saw that at semifinals, they weren't running any ads for the affiliates or the level 1 or any of that stuff like I did for the behind the scenes last year. And they probably had, I'm guessing, I'm just making this number up, 300 to 500 minutes of down air time when they showed the semifinals around the world. Meaning in between the events, when they were resetting the weights, there would just be something on the screen that says, we'll be right back. And instead of saying we'll be right back, they should have shown like some old lady getting her first pull-up, right? Or they should have shown a CrossFit Kids class, or they should have shown Tim Murray. They should have asked me for the content of Tim Murray trying to break the world record for burpees, or they could have asked barbell spin for something. They should have had something. They could have just shown James Hobart teaching the squat. But that would have been great. Hey guys, I'm going to show you the squat, and it's like a 3-minute video shows you the squat, and it ends. Go to an affiliate near you to get the same level of coaching. Just anything like that, right? But all it said is we'll be right back, and it showed some like has-been athletes like snatching or doing cleans and shit. And although it was shot beautifully, I don't think it was great. So, I don't remember exactly how it came to me, but then I was like, Greg had told me to do video contests before when I worked at CrossFit, and we did video contests, and I was like, maybe we need to do a video contest. And then I thought, oh no, fuck a video contest. Let's do a campaign contest. So a campaign would be a group of like 5 videos, right? And the videos would be 30 seconds to 90 seconds long each, and they would be just these little, and it could be anything. The campaign could be, but they would all be around CrossFit affiliates. So I spoke to this guy. Actually, I was talking about it on the show, and Justin Zazimbo from Salty Hive CrossFit in Utah contacted me and said, hey, we got a filmmaker at my gym who wants to talk to you about this film contest. So I called the guy, and we were talking, and we came up with this idea for this campaign, and I'm not sure exactly what he's doing, but the idea that we talked about is like, hey, just sit people down from your gym, this huge swath of characters in your gym, and ask them, what does your affiliate mean to you? Capture their story, put some B-roll behind it and some nice music, and you'll have these little vignettes. Some will make you cry, some will make you happy, some will inspire you, and they can be anything. There's no right or wrong answer. Like it could be just, hey, I'm here to get pussy. Hey, I'm here because I have type 2 diabetes and I heard it could cure me. It could be fucking anything. It could be because I saw I'm looking for a good husband, or I'm looking for a good, anything. I'm here to network. It doesn't matter. And you put those 5 videos together. So he's like, hey, I'll do that. So then I called Chris Cooper over at Two Brain Business. And I was like, Chris, what do you think about this idea for this? And before I could even say anything, he's like, yeah, absolutely, Sevon. I mean, I didn't even get the idea out. And he's so cool. He's like, hey, I love what you're doing. Anything to support the affiliates. So I was like, okay. So then I was like, hey, can we put together some prize money and build this out? I got a guy who's making videos already that will be the example. Those won't be in the contest, but it'll just be the example of a campaign. And then let's give away some prize money. And I suggested some prize money, and Chris doubled it. He's like, no, let's do this. And he said, let's do 5,000 for first, 3,000 for second, 2,000 for third. And so you can start making the videos now. It's 100%. Where I mean, we're going to give that money away. And the goal is for me, selfishly for me, why I want to do it is I want to have all of these videos. So I was thinking if only 5 people enter the contest worldwide, I would have 30 affiliate commercials. But if 20 people entered, I would have 100 affiliate commercials. And so then at any time during the shows, I could just run them.
And behind the scenes, we have some good stuff planned. I was getting lap dances and stuff. We're doing the Macarena.
I'm on the move, I'm going out. I'm a man on a mission with no missions, and I'm looking for love. Oh, I'm just looking for love. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Everybody watch out. Watch out now. Everybody watch out. Watch out now. Watch out.
And like that's a commercial right there. I just have to click the button for our behind the scenes, and now someone's going to purchase the a membership for $20, and I made $20 off that commercial. I'll wait. Go ahead. Buy your membership now. Dana White has expressed openly his disdain for CrossFit. We don't want him in control of HQ. No, that's if that's true, it's just his misunderstanding of it. They would be great. There are some huge proponents, huge lovers of CrossFit and very powerful people at WME. Very, 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 very powerful people. You lotion that skin again, Sebi, looking young. No, there must be a filter on, and I don't know how to turn it off. I want to turn it off so I can like see the real me. Scott Schweitzer was trying to tell me yesterday how to do it, but I don't see it. I went into settings. Oh no, it's not. Oh, okay, sorry, it's not on. Okay, look, I just turned it on. Okay, wow. Okay. Shit. I see it. So that's touched up. That's me touched up. And let me see if I can turn it off. Settings. And this is me not touched up. Oh, I guess I just look good. So I wasn't touched up. Vindicate. Dana's part owner of UFC, Power Slap, Nitro Circus, Nitro Cross, and now meeting with NASCAR. They will spend money to make money. Oh, hold on. Restaurant right next to the lounge you were at yesterday. Join us. Okay, I'm coming. Finishing podcast. The skipper is summoning me. It's like I don't want Sevon's show that Sevon's not at. Oh, you mean when we have guests? Oh, Jill, there you are. Jill took $20 closer to getting a boat. I would never buy a boat, ever. Would you be open to content creators around the world joining the Sevon media team? Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't really know how it works. So I can't, it's not like that. I don't really know how it works. You have to maybe ask Souza how it works. I don't know how it works. It just works. I don't know how it works. Will, do you know how it works? Will knows. Will's on the media team, but I don't know how it works. I don't know how. So I'll just tell you this. I'll tell you how this happened. So, I had this idea for Kill Taylor, and so I called Souza, and then ran the idea by him, and he liked it. And then I ran it by Taylor, and he liked it. And then I called Will, and then all of a sudden Will just took control of the show. So like, I didn't ask him. I don't know how it works, but then he just he's just self-appointed in charge of the branding of the show. So like, he makes the workout cards, like he just sees shit that needs to be done. Or Caleb runs the back end, so all of a sudden Caleb's like, uh-oh, we better have a clock on there. So then, and I don't know if Will makes the spot for the clock or Caleb makes the spot for the clock, but all of a sudden one day there's a clock there. And then I'm like, okay, who would be really good on the show? And then I think, oh, Andrew's good, and he fucking anywhere Andrew goes, the numbers skyrocket. So then you ask Andrew Hillard, and me and Andrew fucking love each other. So then I invite Andrew on, and then I think, okay, who's real? I just thought, oh, Tyler would be great because he's chill and he's funny, and I just like his whole Southern approach to things. And then I know Pedro can just be ruthless. So I'm like, okay, I'll invite those guys on, and then that's it. And then every week someone tries to make it better, a little bit better. Like every week, like, and my job is like just to make sure the phone works, and I just make the schedule, and Souza just makes sure we have money for it. And I don't really know how it works, but it just does. So yeah, I mean, did Will in here respond? Oh, Captain Frog, thank you. God, I can't tell you how happy I am to get members. It's so cool. Oh, show value. Yeah. So there's just stuff that everyone kind of does for each other. You know? Like one day I'll just look in my inbox and there'll be a video from my Instagram that Andrew made me, or yeah, everyone just does stuff for each other in the group. I don't really know. It's really weird. Yeah, Souza's definitely the CFO. It's weird. Souza has access to like all my bank accounts. Will and Souza and Caleb, I think, have and Rios have. Oh yeah, so then Rios. So I'll give you an example. So Rios came around, and then all of a sudden, as people like him more and more, and you build more and more trust, now Rios. Oh, Rios did the same thing with Matuthian. All of a sudden, there was a Matuthian Instagram account, and he's taken over the branding for Matuthian. And he just one day will be like, "Hey, can you get me Matuthians?" I'm like, "Sure." I miss Brian Friend. Yeah, man, that was fun. Brian and I had a fucking thing going, didn't we? Fuck, we were crushing. We were absolutely crushing. John Young never says no to a show ever. Ever. That is the other thing too. No one ever says no. And maybe I'm just a sucker for that. No one ever says no. My kids love the tooth powder. I know my kids love it too. My kids absolutely fucking love it. It makes me so happy. Jill Toolk, I remember when Sevon brought him on the CrossFit podcast at HQ. Oh, Brian, yeah. You're like an affiliate. You're like an affiliate of the media team. Well, you know what's going to happen here in a minute. What's going to happen? By the way, I want to tell you something about Chris Cooper too, real quick, and then I want to tell you something about the media. Chris Cooper Chris Cooper owns the largest gym consulting business in the world, and he has a summit every single year where affiliates, all the affiliates who use the Two Brain service, are invited and pay some sort of fee, and they all, or I don't know if they even pay a fee, but they all come out and congregate in one city in the world. And this year, when I called Chris to tell him about the project, I said, "Oh, hey, isn't your summit coming up?" And he said, "Yeah." And I could tell something was weird with Chris, like when I called him, like he had done some MDMA or something. He was like super high, and like, I mean, he's always a positive, pleasant man to talk to on the phone, but he was like he had seen God, like he was exceptionally high. I could feel it through the phone, and I was like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh, you got your summit coming up?" And he's like, "Dude, we sold out. We have 1,000 people coming. I wish I had a bigger place." And like, I could tell he was so touched and excited. And I'm projecting onto him, but I think, his goal is just to make CrossFit gyms successful, to give them the tools to be successful. And so when his company is doing well, he feels validated, I'm guessing, in his work. And so I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures, but there are some crazy pictures of the group of people that came together in Chicago. The pictures are crazy. I've never, they had a shitload of people at the summit. Yeah. I've been to a lot of different media, CrossFit affiliate events. I've never been to an affiliate event that had as many people that Chris had. And so I think he was just on cloud 9 and just really feeling the work that he's put in coming to fruition. I mean, he's been doing it for years and years. And I feel horrible for not going. He always invites me, but I don't want to fly out to Chicago. But he's absolutely his community that at Two Brains absolutely nuts with affiliate owners and gym owners. So when I started the podcast, obviously I had just been fired, and so I had a lot of angst and frustration with CrossFit. And I think that angst and frustration and negativity has subsided tremendously. I think it's waned. I've processed it. I've tried to own. I have owned the situation that my life has brought me to and that I'm in, right? And then in the success of this podcast, it's also allowed me to settle down. That being said, they did get a new CMO named Jenna Haka, and I consciously am trying to have a very positive relationship with her. I want to have like a healthy, like loving relationship with her, as opposed to another friction point with HQ. And so that's like really important to me. That's really, Jenna is awful. Why do you say that? I don't know. I don't think so. Let me tell you a quick story. Shit, I got to go. This guy yesterday comes and walks by Greg and I, and he's wearing a Santa Cruz sweatshirt. And Greg goes, "Oh, you from Santa Cruz?" And he goes, "No, I'm from," and he tells us where he's from. He's like from Auburn. And then we start talking, and he comes and sits down. He ends up sitting down with us like for 3 hours, and him and his wife. And at one point, he was telling me some Bible verses. And at one point, he was basically, I was telling about the transition I went in from being just like a hippie walking the earth and love everybody to starting to go away as I see these things in the world that I feel like could be a threat to my kids, right? And he said, "Hey, it's important to love thy enemy." And he starts giving me some Bible quotes. And he says, and he goes on to explain to me, and it's this huge like reminder. He says, "You love," and he explains to me, "You love your enemy so that they're no longer your enemy." And God, like I really needed to hear that. Not that I ever viewed Jenna or CrossFit as my enemy, but if you love your enemy, then they're not your enemy. And it was just it just really stuck last night. It really stuck. And so I see her. Jenna's part of the revolving door that is HQ. That might be true. We'll see. Jenna's promoting gay CrossFit. Maybe I would say at most it's this. I mean, like I said, I'm perfectly okay with gay CrossFit and tranny CrossFit and Jew CrossFit and Armenian CrossFit. I just don't think it's not HQ's role. It's not HQ's role to drive those agendas. It's not anyone's role to drive those agendas. The agenda should be to be a good person, and you'll attract good people. But I also know where she comes from and the environment that she's working. And I just think that she clearly that video that they made backfired. If the goal was to make everything more inclusive, that wasn't the way to do it. That video was just added more divisiveness to the CrossFit community. And I personally think probably most gay people couldn't stand it either. Didn't Yoda say all of this? Probably Yoda did. Trish, the same reason you have to let your anxiety, hate, fear, and anger into your conscience and welcome it and address it. You have to sit with it and look at it. Mrs. Burns, you free yourself when you do that. Mike McCaskey, I no longer love everybody. Sevan, why do you think so many of your relationships with HQ peeps are sour? Oh boy, that's a huge one. I wish someone else would answer that. I don't really want to answer that. M. Telford, I want a limited edition CEO shirt with the king on it. The king to be bald with the lice edition. Wow. That's interesting. Maybe Vindicate can make that. The lice edition. So anyway, that's but it is going to be after this video contest, this campaign contest, I suspect let's say half the people who run affiliates can't stand me or what this show stands for. They think I'm sophomoric or juvenile or what's the term? Alt right? Is that the word? Alt right? At some point, and I think this video contest pushes it over the edge. It's very clear that a guy sitting in his hotel room with Andrew Hiller and Will Brandstetter and Matt Souza and Tyler Watkins by their side, who all have day jobs. How are they producing 100 affiliate commercials and nothing's happening over at HQ? At some point, because of the steam and the momentum, the really slow, steady momentum that the media from the outside is building, there'll have to be a moment of reckoning. So, less than 1 minute to the hour mark. We did it. Okay. I'm going to go to Breakfast with Greg. Mike McCaskey, sophomoric, juvenile, alt-right. I watched it's so funny. I watched a video. I guess there was a cop in some city that died, and they wanted to fly the American flag with the blue stripe on it at half mast. And that day the gay flag was up there, which I call the pedo flag now. The pedo flag was up there. And they said that the city council voted, oh shit. The city council voted to not allow the flag with the blue stripe on there because it represented hate. And it's crazy because I've never thought of any American flag. Obviously, someone thinks that, right? I don't know why they think that or how they got to that. But in the same way, you could just argue that I think that the pride flag represents pedophiles and has nothing to do with being gay. And that clearly, whatever version you have of the gay flag, or I'll just call it the rainbow flag, whether you think it's a pedo flag or whatever you think it is a sex flag. There's no one denying that. And so the whole thing is like, how can your argument be that the American flag with the blue stripe on it's offensive, so we're not going to put it up, but then this rainbow flag is okay? No, it's got to be. I bet you that flag's way more offensive to people than anyway. It's just it's all nonsense. The arguments coming from the left. No one from the right would give a shit about the rainbow flag if you didn't put it on school buildings. Dude, it has nothing to do with pedophiles. Nothing. Oh, you're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong, Pat. It has everything. They've co-opted the flag. You're not going to change my mind on that. Pedos and trannies have co-opted the flag. Women-hating men who want to take things away from women, take things away from people based on their genitalia have co-opted the flag. Sorry, dude. I appreciate your stance on it, but you're so 2019, dude. It's 2024. Do you remember the swastika is a symbol for Buddhism, and then the Nazis snagged it? Are you still back in the days that the swastika is cool because it's part of Buddhism? Pat, are you gay? Yes, Pat is gay. Pat and I have a lot of rough gay sex. I can validate that. All right. Hinduism. Thank you, Trish. Whatever. You know what I mean. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be crazy. Tomorrow, we have 2 fighters on from Bellator. They're 2 of the best fighters in the Bellator. I'd say they are the 2 best fighters in Bellator. And they're in the 185-pound division, and they'll be fighting in a couple weeks. We have one of them, the beloved Dalton Rasta, on, I think, in the evening, and Magic Mike Norbert in the morning. If you don't know, Dalton Rasta has 1 loss, and Magic Mike Norbert is undefeated. Both young, aggressive dudes. All right, guys. Love you. Thank you. Bye-bye.